finger horror podcast.
Guys, like, let me just preface this entire episode by saying we've literally been drinking for 3 hours now.
Yeah, I'm listening and dancing to Rick James.
Yeah, before we even decided to hit record. So this is going to be an exceptional episode. We are very excited. TerrorVision is upon us. We are
Okay, see, I'm doing it! I'm doing that thing where I start talking about the movie like the people listening can see the fucking thing I'm looking at.
Okay,
but you
so
can't!
That, at the very opening scene where they show the planet, that piece of, I guess it's supposed to be like a building that they zoom in on is actually the Starship Enterprise flipped upside down and spray painted silver.
No
and they took the
way.
yeah, it is. If
that
you zoom
rules.
in, yeah. So that was one interesting
okay, so we were talking about this earlier, and I've only seen this movie twice. But the first time was a long time ago when me and Megan lived together.
Yep.
And the second time I just kind of had it on in the background while I was cleaning. So I usually watch movies before we record to just get those just so I pre-know what I'm gonna say and talk about, but this time I was like, you know what? I don't think I will. I think I'm just gonna go into this episode.
We're going in cold.
We're going
Bite
in
the
dry.
Pillow, we're going in dry.
Bite the pillow. We're going in dry. We're going into TerrorVision dry. So yeah, I've only I don't really remember this movie as well as I do most of the movies that we cover.
Yeah. I've only actually seen it once. The one time that I did see it was at
with us.
Yeah, with you guys. We watched it together. It's bonkers.
That is the word to describe it.
Yeah, I mostly just remember the set and the vibe of it. It's very, we were talking about it earlier, it's very kitschy, very Pee-wee's Playhouse, a set, you can tell. And it's got it's hyper realistic kind of vibe to it. And a lot of slime, because all the monsters are really
slime. I love slime.
I just if people listening haven't seen it, all you have to do, I feel is when you read any description on IMDb or Wikipedia or whatever platform you're looking at this movie, the descriptions are all because the movie premise is so fucking stupid. An alien's compost or garbage bin or whatever they decide to send, and when you read the description of what the movie is, you're this is gonna be the stupidest movie I've ever seen, and it is.
Yeah,
and when you read the description of the movie, you're just thinking that's so Full Moon. It's such a this is Empire. It's Empire Pictures, but it's still Charles Band.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about him is the fact that it's anything goes.
Yes. Oh God! I forgot. I forgot that we will get into it, but I forgot that he branched out and did Full Moon with his pals.
Yeah.
I forgot. So when you said that, I was literally staring, smiling,
man.
yeah, Full Moon.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
I just love that we're recording right now and you're wearing cat ears. I love them. I'm a cat.
I'm a slithery cat.
Guys, literally, this episode is gonna be fucking out of control. We didn't even introduce ourselves.
No,
we didn't even. We were so drunk that we just skipped over the normal intro, and we just went right to the heart of it all.
My beer is already empty. I need another beer.
Oh, your fifth beer?
Fourth. My fourth beer is empty.
Oh, okay. Excuse the fuck.
Fetch me a beer, wench.
Jesus Christ. Oh, also, so Mum here was. I mean, there's too many things we can't comment on every single thing, but
Yes, we can. Fuck the man.
It's true. It's true.
There's no rules in podcasting.
That's true. And we all work out, some more than others, but we all work out, and this fucking broad, first of all, has dangly earrings and high heels, and she's working out.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that in the 80s, all the Jane Fonda fucking workout videos.
Cardinal
with,
rule
yeah.
one. Yeah. You don't wear anything off your face that can catch on something and rip out of your body.
Oh, you know what?
But
though?
You gotta look good.
I
when
wear
you're
these
exercising.
earrings all the time. I take my pliers and I close the things around them so they can't come out. I wear these when I go to the gym.
You do not gym in those earrings.
I do.
You
and
do
I'm
not.
fucking fabulous.
And you're
when I do.
fabulous when you're doing it too.
I mean, I don't run on the treadmill in fucking high heels.
That's probably a good idea.
Oh, that reminds me of Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Oh my god, their outfits were so
I love that
good.
movie so much. When they're at the bar and the guy hits on Romy and she's like, "I'm sorry, I stubbed my toe and my shoe is filling up with blood, so I need to go." No, I'm serious. Can you get me a beer?
Oh, yeah.
Wench.
Oh my god.
Well,
so we're watching a movie.
Yeah, we're watching a movie called TerrorVision. TerrorVision came
Welcome
out.
to Witchfinger.
My name is Yasmina. Here's Morgan.
Hi, I'm here.
Here's Megan. And we're watching TerrorVision. And TerrorVision is a movie that has been on my list since we started this podcast. Because I remember when we watched it before we started the podcast. And our friend was over. And do you remember Lori said something about shaving carrots?
No.
For some reason, I remember that.
That is a very obscure detail to remember.
She said something about shaving carrots, and I'll never forget that moment.
Okay, so what was the moment?
Just the fact that she said something about shaving carrots. So I associate TerrorVision with my friend Lori, who said something about shaving carrots. So you can, like, leave or cut that out. That's up to you.
No, it's staying in.
It's staying.
Everything is staying in. So TerrorVision, let's get some facts. Came out in 1986. Directed by Ted Nicolau. Ted Nicolau's first full-length film.
Which is amazing.
And written by Ted and Charles Band. Produced by Charles and Richard Band. The whole Band family, I love. I just want to say, like, there was a moment in my life where full moon movies were kind of like, like, I was kind of like finicky about them, but at this point in my life, I appreciate them.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, Full Moon, like, they've done some really bad stuff, like 90s stuff. Yeah.
But there's a lot of good 90s stuff, though. They did do a lot of good 90s stuff.
That is true.
But I think, okay, here's the thing that I'll say about that. They did.
You like that?
Yeah. They did do some good 90s stuff. However, in the 90s, it wasn't good.
That's true.
Now that we're 20, you are a bag of shit right now, Yasmina. Pull it together.
Fuck off.
Now that we're in 2019 and we're in our whatever age range we're in and we appreciate movies, now we're like, oh, the shit in the 90s was gold.
That's true.
But in the moment,
it
was like we were seeing things like Interview with the Vampire. That was a great like I'm air bunnying horror, but that was a great, beautiful film. And then you put it beside let's find one that's pre-hysteria.
Yeah.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it. Is that the one with the guy from My Girl 2 and Lawnmower Man 2? Austin something.
My Girl 2.
My Girl 2.
Bitch, who's seen My Girl 2? Who the fuck do you think I am?
It's like, I don't know.
It is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. She verified it.
How is there a My Girl 2?
You didn't know there was a My Girl 2?
Stop it.
Shut the fuck up, are you serious?
It's like My Girl 2, The Resurrection.
Yeah!
I know, the resurrection of Macaulay Culkin. The bees didn't win.
Oh, God, I didn't know that was a thing. Anyways, I guess.
Okay, well, I definitely remember that movie cover. I just never saw it.
What?
Pre-hysteria?
Oh, yeah, no, I used to love that movie when I was a kid.
It's more of
It's about tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah, but it's more like of a family. Like, I know, well, Charles Band and Full Moon, like, they have, like, all their little offshoots where he does
They do a lot of family movies, too.
Yeah.
Which is funny. Megan just took a sip of her drink. Is that too much vodka?
I don't know how to pour a drink.
Well, we can actually preface this with the fact that
I don't know how to pour a drink.
When we went to the liquor store,
cheers, motherfucker.
Megan was like, "I'm gonna buy a Mickey of vodka," and she was like, "But I don't want to go and buy a mixer." And I was like, "Megan, why don't you just go and purchase a vodka drink with like some sugar in it, and then mix a booze drink?"
Literally, you like they showed up at my apartment.
Apparently,
and you were like, "Oh shit, you have ginger ale," because I bought alcohol to mix with my alcohol.
my booze.
It's so stupid.
That's why I love you.
And like, here's something
among many
interesting,
reasons.
because we don't have, this movie doesn't really have a ton of information. So let me just fill your brains with this information. I was at work and I Googled how much a Mickey of booze is, because I wanted to know what I was getting myself into.
It's like 750 milliliters.
I'm talking cost wise there, bitch.
Oh, sorry.
It's like
okay, money.
But what I found out was the term Mickey in the States, which Canada has adopted without realizing, the term Mickey is a slang for date rape. So
Are
back
you
before
serious?
drugs were like super accessible, a Mickey is what people would buy and is what they were going to spike the punch with to get girls fucked up so that they could date rape them. So that thing we say all the time, I'm going to get a Mickey, we're really saying to the world that we're going to get some date rape. And that's what the internet taught me today.
That's weird, because I literally just joked about date raping you earlier.
You did! It's not funny! Good thing I'm wearing my onesie. My pussy is safe for tonight.
Oh, it's not safe. I've got pliant fingers.
Since you have pliers, I was like, ouch, bitch. What the fuck are you talking about?
I've got pliers.
No pussy is safe.
No pussy is safe with my pliers.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Oh my god. Uncle Rico just showed up.
Uncle Rico! Oh my god, John Grice. I bet I can throw a football over them mountains. Okay, so we're just gonna jump ahead because Uncle Rico, John Grice, just appeared on the screen, and I love that he's wearing a wasp.
Is it
shirt.
Grease or Grice?
It's Grice.
Is it?
And you know what? I used to think it was Grease, but I had to watch some interviews with him to
see like how he pronounces
know
his name.
how he pronounces his last name. Look how fucking adorable
There's
he
a couple
is.
little
Look
wasp
at him.
things in here. Oh my god, he is
I love that he's
adorable.
wearing a wasp shirt. I fucking love Wasp so much. Okay, we're just gonna skip ahead. Let's just talk about him right now because I love him. Who doesn't?
You know what? I gotta say, I like the space in his teeth.
I love it.
I'm into it.
It's super
I'm way
sexy.
into it.
One of those men has a space between his teeth. Isn't
Arnold?
It? No, fuck no, bitch.
Schwarzenegger?
But
he fixed it.
It's like not the Raiden that I love, but Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, Dexter's dad.
He has a space between his
Dexter's
teeth.
dad. You know
Oh,
his
it's
name.
Raiden.
Because he was the original Hicks in Aliens. Why can't I remember his name? Oh my god, I can't.
Oh, it's not Lance Hendrickson. It's not. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. But they're all kind of similar, right? Like Lance Hendrickson kind of looks like him, who kind of looks like that guy who sings "I'm an asshole, yo." Like they all
Dennis
kinda,
Leary.
Yeah, they all kind of look alike. You know what I mean? Like all those dudes.
Yeah. I can picture his face, but I literally cannot remember his name for the
The space is very sexy, though. I'm gonna agree with that 100%.
James Remar.
Yeah, James Remar. There's something about that.
But I do love that they pulled his wig off of like a party store.
Literally, they were like, oh, like punk rock wig ordered off the internet.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean,
you don't often see in real life punk rockers who have braids.
Yeah,
like.
Well, very much like in our last episode.
I was
New Year's
just gonna
Evil,
say, fucking
talking
New Year's
about
Evil. The comb, the knife comb
well,
thing.
and how they just always miss the mark with like the metal punk niche kind of like counterculture dress. It always just looks so contrived. Mind you, I do like his gauntlets. I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I
but
like his
like he literally is
gloves.
wearing like a Rick James wig while he's got his wasp shirt on and his like leather and whatever. And like some of it is cool. I get it, but they just missed the mark. It just
Well, I love that John Grice was both a werewolf in Monster Squad and Fright Night 2.
Yeah, he's been more than one werewolf.
Yeah, I know.
Does
both fantastic movies.
Is it just because he's a tall man? Or
I have no
is
idea.
it
I think it must have just been a coincidence. It must have been a coincidence.
It is really interesting.
But I gotta say that I love Fright Night, one of my top 5 perfect horror movies. But Fright Night 2 as its own is fucking fantastic.
It makes
that movie is
zero
so
sense
good.
with the first one, but
You're
it
right.
does have its own
well,
merits.
the only
it's like Halloween 3, where it's like
but
it doesn't
there
really
is
fit.
a tie though because it's Jerry Danders' sister.
Yeah.
But fucking still, like, the special effects in Fright Night 2 are so fucking good. And yes, I love that John Grise plays a werewolf in both Monster Squad and Fright Night 2. But he was also in that movie with Val Kilmer, Real Genius. Do you guys remember that movie from the 80s?
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it, but I know of it. Like, Val Kilmer is this nerd, like a computer science nerd.
Yeah.
That's all I know. Also, very interesting, John Grise was in Helter Skelter.
Right.
And his dad directed it.
Yeah, like his
Yeah.
dad is like a very famous like writer,
Well,
director,
his brother was also involved in like the Hollywood whatever shtick.
Yeah. So yeah, his dad directed Helter
But
Skelter.
like you guys, and I was gonna put Helter Skelter in my notes, but I haven't seen it. And
it's good.
enough,
It's good.
Funny enough, the girls and I were just not 45 minutes ago talking about the murders.
Well, and it's funny because John Grise played the caretaker William Garrettson,
who survived.
who's the only one that survived.
I'm not super familiar with the Manson trial and stuff like that.
I was like obsessed.
And I
with
never
it.
saw Helter Skelter, but
I read the book.
The book is like one of the best true crime books I've ever read.
I think that the movie was actually like a TV movie though.
Oh,
yeah, it was. It was a TV movie. I actually own the documentary on VHS called Manson that is footage of the court trials and the Manson family members being interviewed in it. It's crazy. It's fucked. But yeah, so John Grise also did a bunch of TV. Like he was in Quantum Leap, fucking Scott Bakula, Dean Stockwell, whoop whoop.
What the fuck is Quantum?
I know, you've said this before. She
oh my
doesn't
god,
know.
like literally.
We're gonna make you watch
so
Quantum
good.
Leap, and it's gonna blow your mind.
Is it like Twilight Zone or Star Trek? Or like what?
No,
Is it
it's a show
combination of both?
about a guy who they figure out some like I don't know what even the term would be, like some like
Oh, is it like the ninth gate or whatever where you pass through a gate, Quantum Leap? Are you leaping through space and time?
sort of.
Well, he leaps through time and
Space and
space,
time?
but he has
Okay.
a friend, and the guy, like Dean Stockwell, is his friend, and he helps him. Like,
yeah,
through
he's
these,
he's the
you know,
person
mysteries and
in the
crimes.
present that has the information. So basically what he does is he travels into different people's bodies into the past to change the course of history
Okay, shut the fuck
for the
up.
better.
Dude, I can't believe
It's
you
fucking
never
great.
watched it. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, there must be
Yeah.
like an
It
age
sounds like
gap
a
or something.
Highlander kind of,
Yeah,
but I've
like
never
honestly,
seen
there must be
Highlander.
an age gap because like we grew up watching the shit out of Quantum Leap, and we've talked about it before, and you were like,
All
"What
it
is
takes
this?"
is 1 or 2 years.
You're
and-
right. You're right.
Yeah, no,
you
that
should
is
watch
true.
it. Quantum Leap is fucking awesome.
It was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is.
It probably isn't because Netflix sucks.
I know they took it off.
Netflix sucks. It fucking took X Files off. Fuck you. Also, John Grise was on X Files. he was on X Files, and he was on an episode with Tony Todd. And this is interesting. He was on Beverly Hills 90210,
Was he?
and he played Dylan's drug dealer.
Really? Oh, and speaking of which,
And speaking of
R.I.P.
which,
rest in peace,
Luke Perry.
Fucking Luke Perry. That
Yeah.
shit fucked me up.
I can't believe him and Keith from Prodigy the same day.
I know.
I
That,
was
like,
like, what the
shook my
fuck is
soul.
going on?
So I was at work when I found out that Luke Perry died, and my boss, who is younger than me, was like, "I bet you it was drugs because
No,
he
fuck
looks like
off.
a drug addict."
No.
And I literally
Fucking
said to her,
kidding me?
I was like, "It says massive stroke." She's like, "Yeah, but like a drug-induced stroke."
No, it was
and
a
I
stroke.
was so offended. Like, leave him alone.
You know
Yeah.
what? And to me, it just goes to show you that, like, so he
Oh
was.
my god!
my coaster won't stay on the table. I got it under control. I got it under control. Got it under control.
Holy fuck. This is literally the
Anyways,
best thing we've
Luke
ever
Perry.
done. Oh yeah, okay, so what I was gonna say was that, like, it just goes to show you that, like people, like, that have strokes, like, a lot of times it's like, oh, heart attack, stroke, it's associated with being unhealthy or fat or, like, overweight, obese, whatever, unhealthy, and, like, he looked great. I saw photos of him and he was like, he looked fit, he looked thin,
He must have, like, what I assume is that high blood pressure must have, like, ran in his family.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it is hereditary, so, like,
those
high blood pressure causes, like, blood clots in your veins and everything, so, like, he was really young, but, like, strokes do happen in younger cases.
Yeah.
It's just really rare. So it's honestly just, like the blood flow that was going to his brain like wasn't sufficient enough, and like he had a stroke and then he was in the hospital for like 5 days. To be perfectly honest, I was like never a huge fan of him from 90210. I was more about Jason Priestley's character when I was a kid. Oh yeah, he was a heartthrob. But Dylan was like the bad boy, and
well, yeah, like Dylan, like I was not okay.
Dylan.
So I want Dylan.
I'm a huge like Buffy fan, and I love even the movie, and I always hated Luke Perry's character in the movie.
What the fuck?
I'm sorry.
What the fuck?
His like one-liners, it's just like so fucking
That's not
like
his fault. He was written that way.
his character. I didn't say I hated him. I hated his character.
Okay.
So that's the only thing that I was like, I was never a fan of, you know, like his characters portrayed, but that's not his fault, obviously. But it's still pretty shocking.
I do love the way he's been drawn in cartoon.
Oh yeah, I've never seen.
He was drawn in like a Family Guy episode. They drew him. And
wasn't he in The Simpsons and shit?
The Simpsons, like I think a couple cartoons drew him, and they always drew him with like. I mean, you know, I feel like a bitch because he's passed away, but you wouldn't feel bad if he was still alive. So imagine he's still alive. They drew him with like a really long head and like a forehead the size.
He had a very cut face.
Yeah, but he always had these like whenever cartoons drew him, they had these like
the sad James Dean fucking eyes.
Yeah, James Dean eyes.
But you know, like he
had a James Dean look for sure.
He did, and that's probably why he was cast like as the like bad boy. But like, I remember watching 90210 and always being like, yo, this motherfucker is 31 years old.
Playing a fucking like
16.
I know. Right?
I am 14 years old and I can see that shit.
Yeah,
from
it's
a mile
true.
away.
It's true. Well, back to John Grise. He was also in Lost, and like, don't believe all the hype. That show is actually really fucking good, because I know there was a lot of hype around that show, which like dissuade people from watching it, but like believe it, because it's actually fucking good. Lost is actually a really fucking good show.
I've heard it's
actually a really fucking good show.
I never got into it. My parents watched it.
It's so good. It's actually really fucking good. Trust me.
I would have to give it, like, I know that like the first few seasons were like, this is awesome, but I've just heard that as a whole, like the ending was like,
okay, so the ending was like
but that is like a summation of the entire show.
But that shouldn't be, because there's like 6 seasons and they're like all different.
I don't think that's fair to say, because I've read a lot of really good books where the content is really amazing and the end sucks. That doesn't mean the book sucks.
You're right.
It does not mean the book.
No, seriously, the thing
about King doesn't know how to end a book, and many fans.
And that's the thing about Lost.
The books are incredible.
And that's the thing about Lost, is that J.J. Abrams like had like a Lost Bible where he had everything planned out. He knew exactly how he was going to end that show, and the way that it ended, sucked. But Morgan, you would appreciate the last 2 seasons because they incorporate a lot of physics in the last 2 seasons, and it's very scientific.
The Office had the worst last season of all fucking comedy shows ever made. Seinfeld, the last episode of Seinfeld was fucking garbage. I gotta tell you, the plane crash, and then they end up in this weird place, and they get charged for
and then
not
they
being
just go to
nice
jail,
enough, and then they go to jail. Had to be one of the worst episodes I've ever seen in the entire fucking show. But Seinfeld is hilarious.
Oh yeah, but like Lost, I'm not gonna lie, honestly, like I got really into that show, and I will admit that it is a fucking awesome show. It is one of those shows that I remember when it was on TV and the hype was like so huge. The hype was like overwhelming to the point where it was annoying. Yeah. So I understand why people would be like, I'm not gonna watch this bullshit, because it annoyed you on social media and everything, and like on the news and everything, but it's actually fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie. Another like fucking show that John Grise was on was Supernatural. He was on a couple episodes of Supernatural. Yeah.
He was also in Seinfeld.
And I was gonna say, he was also in fucking Seinfeld. He plays a homeless guy. He plays a homeless guy in 2 episodes. I love it so much that he's in the episode The Beard and the bookstore. So, the bookstore episode is the one where I think Kramer and Newman hire bums to fucking, like, ride the rickshaws. Remember?
Oh my god. And then they just take off.
And then that's John Grice! That's John! He, like, takes the rickshaw and he, like, disappears with it. And the bookstore is the one where George takes the book to the bathroom.
Yeah, no,
and
like,
it gets flagged.
we
We can't take this because it's you taking it to the bathroom.
Okay, yeah.
The beard, I think, is the one where George has the hairpiece.
Oh god.
And Elaine hates it so much. And she's like, "Oh, I think about this hairpiece!" And she, like, takes it off his hair and, like, fucking, like, throws it out the window. And John Grice fucking is, like, walking down the street and he finds it and he, like, puts it on his head.
That's one of my most favorite moments in Seinfeld history is when Elaine freaks out, grabs his head.
Oh my god, I know. And like, and also,
moments.
I think that's also the same episode where, like, when you first see John Grice as a bum, and Kramer and Newman approach him and two other bums about the job for pushing the rickshaw, and like, while they're talking to these three bums in the middle of a conversation, one of the bums just, like, walks away, like, looking in the middle of, like, the road. He's just like, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And the other guy, like, fucking is, like, too weak to pull the rickshaw.
Right, the old guy, yeah.
He's, like, holding something, and he drops it.
See, that's really funny because this was one of the few, when I was doing research for my notes, every single character, because this movie has little information.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so I every single character, all I looked for like half an hour was if they were in Seinfeld or not. And there are a couple.
Yes, they
We
are.
got
There
a
are
couple.
There are a few Seinfeld quotes and references in this fucking film.
We got some Seinfeld.
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, we do. Well, the last thing I want to say about John Grice is he was in a couple of music videos. He was in the Alice in Chains video for Rooster. And he was also in the Lenny Kravitz video, Mr. Cab Driver.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that song.
Dude, that's actually a really good song.
Mr.
But every
Cab
time
Driver.
I think of
Fuck
Lenny Kravitz,
you.
I think of his wang.
His wang.
His wang.
Never heard that song.
What, Mr.
What?
Cab Driver?
Oh,
That was,
you know
that
that
was one of
song.
his,
Mr. Cab Driver.
Fuck you! I'm a survivor.
It's a good song.
Okay.
Yeah.
But remember when he split his pants and his wang came out?
Yeah, it was just
I'll never forget that.
Oh my god, literally, I had that GIF on rotation in my fucking phone. It was like, bam, 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 dick, wah! It was amazing.
How come he didn't wear underwear?
That's a good question.
Wait, was he wearing leather pants?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he like, well, they might have been like fake leather because like, I don't think leather like splits like that.
That is a moment I'll never
That was
forget
not
in
some
my
thunder
life.
that would split leather.
That is a moment that I will
true.
never forget in my fucking life is when Lenny Kravitz's plans split.
You know what? I'm gonna take a little snapshot of this moment, and you'll see 10 years from now when Witch Finger is huge as fuck, and we go out on stage, and Yasmina goes to pose in one of her black metal poses,
Oh no!
and her fucking
And then my
pussy
fucking
falls out of her
pussy's gonna
pants.
fall out all over the internet.
like literally, I have to. I'm drunk and I feel like I have to get up because he was like this. He went.
He dipped it. He
like,
teabagged it.
Okay, so Ted Nicolau. So he didn't do like as much as the other like Full Moon guys.
He did a little bit.
He did a little bit. He did a his director. Oh my god, I can't say this word when I'm drunk. Directorial debut was one of the best segments in Dungeon Master, in my opinion. It's the Desert Pursuit, which is like the Mad Max like segment in Dungeon Master, and they used the same vehicles from Metal Storm, and I fucking love
That's awesome.
Metal Storm.
That's fucking awesome.
He also directed Bad Channels. That is a fucking movie.
You know what? Bad Channels actually gives me this vibe. Like it gives me.
It does.
It's
the
a
same
very
vibe. It's totally the same
TerrorVision
vibe.
It's got
Yeah.
that hyper real kind of like movie set kind of. It's very similar.
Yeah, for sure. He also did fucking Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys with Corey Feldman.
Oh my god.
I watched that movie
And you
for
wish you hadn't?
research.
You wish
for
you for
our,
quote-unquote research.
I know. I did it for research for our Dolls episode because I'd never seen it before. And Corey Feldman is like in his like late 30s, but he's supposed to be this like dad, and they just like spray painted gray like in his hair to like make him look like an old scientist. That was weird.
That's fucking
But he also did the Subspecies movies, which are very important in my life.
Yeah,
I love fucking Radu!
I would say very important, but also, like,
and he also
apparently some of the, like, that's some of, like, Full Moon's most well-known and well box office performing fucking movies.
Is a rad dude.
No, Boo! That was such a fucking dad joke. Boo on that joke.
I love Radu so much.
You.
But his
dude
like
was a rad dude. No.
His fingers.
I know,
like,
they're so long.
They're so long. Like, how can you do anything with those fucking fingers?
How does rad dude do anything? I ask you.
Radu-do.
Radu-do.
Radu-do you.
My name's
Radu-do you, girl.
My name's Radu, and I do.
That's like if Matthew McConaughey was playing Radu.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
My name's Radu,
my name's
and
Radu,
I do.
and I do. Dude, I fucking love Radu. Ted Niccolo graduated from the University of Texas from the film program, and he worked on the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a sound recordist.
Which is awesome.
And so that's how he kind of like got his way into film. And he this is kind of interesting about like TerrorVision. Him and the production designer checked out Swingers pads to get ideas for the set for the
Sorry,
house.
did you just say Swingers?
Swingers pads, because like they the swingers like come over to the house, and so they were all like, what do swingers houses look like? So they like went to swingers houses.
Have they ever seen
LA.
Austin Powers? Oh, nope.
Right, like the circular bed with the fucking mirrors on the ceiling. La, 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 la.
It's just, I just want to say that in like a Beatles accent, like, the swingers pad, baby. Like, like I got one of the Beatles. That's brutal. I feel racist. Trying to do that accent, I'm no good.
No.
I'm no good.
You're good. You're good.
I'm John Lennon. Hello, I'm John Lennon.
Fancy some tea and crumpets?
Oh man, crumpets are the bomb.
Fuck your crumpets.
Yeah, get out of here.
You don't like crumpets?
No.
I think they're okay.
You guys are both like, no. Oh my god.
I am so booze drunk.
How are we
Like, booze
even
drunk.
recording
So
right
Morgan,
now?
we've talked about Yasmina, how Yasmina's on beer 5 and how I mix my vodka with vodka. But Morgan started out with beer and now she's on wine. If you've ever started out with beer and then gone to wine, you know why that is significant in this moment.
Yep.
Beer before wine, you're fucking fine.
Okay, can I tell you something about those rhymes?
They're bullshit. I looked it up.
They
I looked it up.
don't
It's
mean
bullshit.
shit.
It's bullshit.
Oh, I know.
They don't, because it's beer before liquor, never sicker. But
Yeah.
then
Liquor
I've heard,
before beer, you're in the clear.
But then
It's
I've heard...
bullshit.
Wait, beer before
Bullshit.
liquor, never sicker. But then I've heard beer before liquor, you're
Drunk or real quicker.
you're fine. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. In
It
the
doesn't
mo- I
matter.
can't in the
Like
moment,
honestly,
but
I feel like if you
It
mix
doesn't matter.
if you
You
mix
can't-
liquor with beer, you're gonna be fucked.
I think it mostly just has to do with the amount of time that you're actually drinking, like, and how much alcohol percentage is
And
going
how much
on.
water you're
But
having.
I
have you
also
guys ever
feel
done
like
shots of beer? Have you guys ever played the Century Club?
no.
You just asked 2 questions really quickly.
I know.
What was the first question?
Have you guys ever done shots of beer? Which made me think of the Century Club, which is a game me and my friends used to play. The Century Club is a game where you try and see if someone can do 100 shots of beer in it's a shot a minute.
I've never
So in
heard of
100,
this.
it's a Century Club. It's like a real thing. So we've tried, and I remember I did it. I tried doing it once, and I got to 60 out of 100 shots of beer. And then we went to the Salt Lounge, and I fucking barfed all over the bouncer. I don't know who was working that night.
Oh my god.
But I fucking barfed all over the bouncer, And I was like, it's okay. I'm playing the Century fucking whatever. And they let me in. I shit you not, the Salt Lounge let me in. If you're from London, which you're probably not, the Salt Lounge, you would understand, was a very...
Oh, I've been very drunk at that place.
It was like every local, for all you people listening in LA or Toronto, you have a bar where people get into even though they have vomit all over their faces.
Yeah. Everyone, there's a place like that everywhere.
So we've all been to the Salt Lounge.
Oh yes.
We've all been to the Wick. We've all been to the Richmond.
I worked at the fucking Wick.
Oh yeah.
I worked your Wick.
You're all like grossed out and I'm like, yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about
I'm still trying to come up with rhymes.
Rhymes for
beer
why?
Before wine, you're having a good time.
We're watching the Shout Factory Blu-ray. I love that we're watching this on Blu-ray because we usually just fucking watch VHS
on
or like
YouTube
shit on YouTube.
Yeah, like whatever the bottom of the barrel we can scrape.
Yeah, I know.
To watch.
But it's awesome that they released this on Blu-ray. It's like a split with the Video Dead, which I love. I love the Video Dead.
You know what? I've never seen the Video Dead.
No, you're lying, you bitch.
But
we watched it. Remember?
Well,
you fucking came over.
It must have been so terrible.
No, you came over and you watched it. Remember?
That must have been one of those nights where you guys started drinking and talking, and there's a movie.
You and
playing
Ben
in the
came
background.
over. Like
We
when
watched
this
the
is
Video
like
Dead.
when I lived with Jen, and you guys came over. That was the same night. I have such a weird fucking memory. That was the same night that we watched.
Peeling carrots.
No, that was the same night that we watched the grapefruiting video.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, is that the video with the dick? Like it's a pussy. It's like
where
a
she's like,
it's
young
like,
man
yeah, no,
will
yeah,
never know anything better than the grapefruit.
If you guys don't know, that's the night that we watched the Video Dead. Like, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, just please go on Google and search grapefruiting. Her name is Angel, right? Her
of course it's Angel.
Yeah, her
or
name is Angel.
Destiny or
Something like
Starla.
that.
Or
So please look up
Starla.
grapefruiting, because like that shit is the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
Okay, well, I don't know. Maybe the Video Dead just didn't leave an impression on me the way it
it's
should have.
fantastic.
But
It's
Yasmina, I mean,
her name's Morgan.
Morgan.
Yes, Morgan.
That was when Jen lived with her, so that was like 6-7 years ago.
It was a while, yeah.
I remember the rottenness
So
movies.
don't you dare let the real Yasmina try and put you down right now. Because you want to know what? Our memories aren't made of steel.
I know.
Okay?
Mine
I have a weird
certainly
memory.
not.
I don't know why I remember this shit. The night that we watched Videodrome fucking 6 years ago was the same night that we watched the grapefruiting video.
Ew,
Like, what's
you
wrong
watch
with
Videodrome
me?
with other people? It's basically a pornography.
No, sorry, not
film.
Videodrome, the Video
Video
Dead.
Dead.
Sorry, the Video Dead. The same night that we watched Video Dead was the same night that we watched the grapefruiting video.
Because don't ever watch Videodrome.
No, you watch it.
Videodrome's okay.
Ew, it's disgusting.
The last time
It's
I saw-
amazing.
We
Shut up.
watched it at the Highland.
There's so much
Yeah.
P-U-S-S-Y in it. Like, it's a lot of sex in Videodrome.
It's Cronenberg, so it's very sexual, right?
They
Like, it's all very,
Cronenberged
like,
it up.
I don't...
Like, the gun is the extension of the penis.
Yeah, but I get that,
Zardos,
but, like-
the penis is bad, the gun is good. I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Y'all motherfuckers need to look up the grapefruiting video.
Have you guys ever let a man have sex with your armpit when it was unshaved?
No, but have you?
No, I just...
I'm thinking. I'm kidding.
You think? I love that.
I don't know.
Dating apps, profile, put in your info. I fuck armpits unshaved. It's a thing now.
Oh, it's a thing.
Is that a website? .com?
Probably.
Everything's a fucking
Everything is a
.com.
fetish. Everything.
Everything is a fetish. Hashtag.
And you know what? I love it because I love reading about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I love reading about all the weird, like, new fetishes. Like, cast porn is a thing.
But, like, my favorite are the adult, and they're always men. They're always men. But the adults who like to dress up as babies.
Oh my
The
god, I
adult
love that
baby
so
thing
much.
is fucked.
Yeah.
Are they not always men?
Yeah, they are.
I guess,
90% of the time. 90%
they all
of the time.
got mommy
issues.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you about to take an adult-sized poo in that diaper?
Yeah.
And, like, I do that for a living.
Actually,
I get it, but, like, they can't help it.
Yeah.
I will have to say that my friend Lee, actually in LA, you guys should look it up. He made a short movie about a guy who has that fetish, and he kidnaps a girl in his house and, like, makes her, like, mom him. And he has, like, a fucking diaper and, like, makes her, like, clean his shit and everything. That's genius that you made that into a fucking movie.
Happy International Women's Day.
Literally, this is the drunkest.
This
is the drunkest episode.
Lee Boxleitner. If you guys want to look it up, it's Lee
His last name is not
Boxleitner.
Oh,
Just look it up on Instagram, and he made a short movie, and it was fucking fantastic. If you all have those diaper fetishes, you might be into this short. I'm ready to talk about Charles Band. Charles Full Moon Band. Let's talk about Charles. Son of Albert Band. Albert Band directed Ghoulies 2. Him and Albert both directed Dr. Mordred together.
That's adorable.
And
Amazing.
I know you haven't seen it yet, Morgan.
No, I haven't. I know.
Have you seen Dr. Mordred?
Nope.
God damn you bitches. That fucking movie is so good. It is better than Doctor Strange. It is Doctor Strange, but it's Jeffrey Combs as him, but it's called Dr. Mordred because of some rights bullshit. It's so good. It's so good. Brian Thompson, man of your nightmares, man
Brian
of my
Thompson's pretty
dreams.
scary.
I love Dr. Mordred. It's so fucking good. So, Charles, his brother Richard, their birthdays are one day apart. Like, Richard Band did the score.
He did the score and, like, all
for
of
TerrorVision.
Yeah, and all of the punk rock, like, songs that are, like, featured are also the Fibonacci's.
Yeah, I've never heard of
The
them.
band
God.
from LA.
I've literally never heard of them.
Only because I wanted to look into them so much more, and all I got was, like, the sad story of how they thought that this would be their big moment.
Oh, like their breakthrough?
They thought, like, we're gonna play half of our songs in this movie, and people are gonna know us, and blah, blah, blah. And then this movie got such poor reviews that the band, unfortunately, got a bad name for itself. For being so involved in the film, the band was, like, exiled before they had a chance to even...
Oh, no.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, yeah, because, like, honestly, I looked at the track listing for the soundtrack, and I think, like, maybe, like, 5 out of 12 songs was the band, like, the Fibonacci's or whatever, so...
Well, yeah, and then I looked into, TerrorVision, the band.
Yeah,
TerrorVision.
there's a UK band called TerrorVision as well.
I didn't look into that.
I don't know. My God, I wish I could take a picture of that face.
Can I just tell you...
I'm joking at your face.
Can I just tell you that the band TerrorVision have a website, and I perused their fucking website.
Oh, was it like
You
Angel
clicked.
Fire shit?
You
Like,
clicked.
It's one of those websites.
No, they're like a new, like, UK band.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
However, remember when we were in high school when the internet was just coming out and we had to take these, like, how to design a website?
yeah, like GeoCities and Angel
basic.
Fire.
It was so basic.
Yeah.
Their website in 2019 is so basic. It has, like, a little, like flame, like one of these little, like,
That's
computer
hilarious.
animated, like, it's
No,
so
like
basic.
a fucking like Angel Fire, like avatar, like let me click this fucking.
I'm pretty sure
like
Robert
the year
Tepper's website was like that
2002.
too.
Yeah, like, so basic. And their photos show all, like, they have photos of the members of the band, and they're of unknown age. And I say that because one band member looks like he might be 24, and then you look on the other side of the photo, and the other band member literally looks like he could be 71. And, like, this, I swear to God! And, like, this band is just like, what? It's like they took stock photos of people who they put behind frames in Walmart and just pieced them together and was
That's
like,
amazing.
This is
This
a
is a
band.
band.
And we are called TerrorVision.
Holy fuck!
Well, I
So-
already think that the movie is better than
Oh,
the
Oh my
band.
God.
Well, fucking, Charles Band, he co-wrote this movie with Ted, and he also like co-produced it with his brother Richard. And I just want to say, like, okay, we've talked about Charles Band before, but not as detailed as I'm going to get into right now, because like we did Ghoulies, and Charles Band had, you know, like a hand in Ghoulies and everything. But like I looked up my old notes with like dolls and Ghoulies and everything, and like I was like, yeah, I could do more. I could like, you know, like I've got like a lot more to say about Charles. So Charles created Wizard Video. In the 80s. And Wizard Video are back now, and they are reissuing a lot of old titles on VHS,
which is
that you can purchase on the Full Moon website. That's like, and they come in the big boxes again, which is amazing for all the nostalgic like VHS collectors. The fact that he's like re-releasing like the big boxes is glorious. Like I love it so much. So he founded Empire Pictures in 1983. They ran from like 83 to 88 in like Rome, and so Empire Pictures released TerrorVision and Reanimator, From Beyond, Trancers, like Ghoulies. Then they went bankrupt, and then after they had that like castle, like the Dino. Yeah, they bought Dino. They bought his castle, but then like after they went bankrupt, that's when he started Full Moon. So he started Full Moon in 1988 with Paramount Pictures. So Paramount Pictures and him collaborated together to create Full Moon, and the first release was Puppet Master in 1989. So the success of Puppet Master. Oh my god, I can't fucking talk. Puppet, shut the fuck up. Puppet Master.
You should probably have another tall can of beer.
No, I'm almost done. Why don't you get another tall can?
I swear to God, I'm gonna Mickey the fuck out of you.
Oh shit, she's gonna date rape me. Megan's gonna date rape me. Okay, so basically after Puppet Master, it was very successful in 1989, and then they did 3 movies after that, and one of them was Meridian.
Oh. Okay.
Fucking softcore,
literally
werewolf porn with Audrey Horne. That's basically all you need to know about Meridian.
Is it
softcore werewolf porn is basically how I would describe Meridian.
It is. But to me, the most enticing part, because nothing impresses me anymore, is like the twinning aspect in it.
Yeah.
Like the twin who was like helping the other twin to do the rape, you know, right? Remember, like
yeah, it was like, well, there was like a good twin and a bad twin, and it was like which one?
It was like that episode of The Simpsons where you thought Bart was the good Bart, but they're
Hugo.
That treehouse Hugo.
Yeah. The fish heads.
With the fish heads, Meridian.
Yeah, Meridian. Fucking Meridian.
Literally,
man.
like Meridian is like, I know I'm stupid and I bought it on fucking Amazon.
Why are you stupid?
I just love like that. Like it was
because I read the description and I was like, okay, this is a Full Moon movie,
but it's
and
worth owning.
It literally says werewolf porn, and I was like, click.
It's worth owning. Though. Do you regret it?
No, not at all.
Okay. Oh no, some of the stuff
that
she
owns
I
couldn't watch. Like, it's not a movie that I could watch alone and be like, this is a great movie. Like I knew, like
it's
I had
super
to like.
Uninteresting.
That's like a movie that I would put on while I'm cleaning.
Listen, here's what's gonna happen right now. A Seinfeld reference that is forced. So, talking about Meridian, the little person in Meridian has a role in Seinfeld. Do you remember when Kramer gets the role for
Isn't it Phil Fondacaro?
Phil Fondacaro.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and anyways, now, in that episode, Kramer and Phil Fondacaro are playing, well, no, not in that episode, but in another episode, they're playing stand-ins for characters in a show, and Phil Fondacaro is a child. He's playing a stand-in for a child. In that episode, he wears lifts in his shoes.
And then everybody knows that he's wearing lifts.
There's a female.
She's from Total Recall.
You stupid slut, you stole my information.
I'm sorry, my brain is
so I was
like
getting
filled with
tattooed the
useless
other day.
knowledge.
It's true. I was getting tattooed the other day.
And Total Recall was playing on the TV because I saw it in your stories.
That's right. It was.
Yep, three-titted woman.
It was, and I saw.
No,
her
sorry,
kinda,
not three-titted woman.
I saw her kind of like waddle away, and I was like, I know that bitch.
From
She's
fucking
from
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. She was the one who was like.
Everybody knows that you're lifting.
Yeah, and she was like flirting with Phil Fern and like flirting with him, and I feel like I'm modeling for a Sports Illustrated cover right now. But the straps of my onesie were hurting my shoulder.
Megan just got her chest tattooed, so she's feeling some pain. But alcohol helps with that.
But at the same time, I'm feeling no pain.
There is.
Cheers, bitch.
Morgan! Put it in your wine glass.
TerrorVision!
Beer in my wine glass, so I can double fist.
Well,
I'm gonna regret all of these things.
I'm gonna keep like fucking like talking about Charles Band's prowess. He started the segment's Video Zone when Puppet Master 2 came out in 1991. So Video Zone were like the segments that happen after the end of full moon movies where it's like behind the scenes.
I love that.
And like
it was
all
really
the stuff
cool.
about like the toys and like the comic books. Like those things were so awesome.
It's like a video
and,
magazine,
But
basically.
get this though. Paramount Pictures didn't believe in the making of segments, so they didn't want to fund them, so they forced him to pay out of pocket for those.
Okay, and you know what is so fucking hilarious about that is that now when people purchase DVDs or Blu-rays, like that's what they expect. They want the extras, they want the making of, they want behind the scenes, and like Charles Band was giving that shit in the 80s, and they want the merchandising and they want all of that, because you know like it's hard-earned money, and like the way that pricing is going now, it's like, you know, you don't just pay for like a movie, you want extra shit, and like he was doing that. He was beyond his fucking like well beyond his time. Like people, they want the good shit.
All hail Charles Band.
I mean, movies have been coming out to own, I think, since probably the 50s or 60s. I don't even know if it was that far. It might have been the 70s.
I think the 70s was when like beta and VHS started to become.
So let's say the 70s, you can own a film, and that actually helps my theory even more, because I feel like people, when you were first able to purchase a film, wanted to be lost in the idea that the film could be real. I don't want to know how it was made. I want to think it was real. So perhaps when he started coming out with these behind the scenes, people were like, are you really showing me how that was done? Do you think I fucking want to know how that was done? Like, people might have been thinking, I want to think it was real. Like, how dare you shatter my illusions?
So they wanted to like contain the mystery.
Yeah, like how dare you how dare you show me how that was done? Because in my mind, when I saw it on the big screen, because let's face it, the big screen up until the 90s was how people saw.
Yeah,
I can understand that aspect in a marketing view of point, but for horror specifically, especially in the 80s, like when cons like happened and like horror conventions,
special
and like people
effects,
like everybody wanted to know how it was made, because that like spawned a generation of people who wanted to learn.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the 80s was that groundbreaking time, right? Where some people were really into it, but some
Paramount
people
just
were
didn't
really
get it.
not.
The big budget kind of like studios like Paramount like didn't really understand
MGM,
that, because
like that,
they didn't understand the like the lower budget horror in the 80s was still like a lower budget, you know, fan base, and they didn't get it. Like in the 80s, like action movies were like the big Hollywood, you know, like millions of dollars, like making movies.
I mean, Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know
God, I know. I can look at me. I can stretch. Best fucking double impact. But Charles wanted to give that to the fans because he knew that that's what they wanted. Like, and and it started a whole new decade and branch of fans that got into special effects. That like that's their career now, because like in the 80s when we were kids, like now we're in our 30s, and people that we know in our 30s who are now in the special effects business do it now because they knew about like these like Video Zone and like Tom Savini interviews.
Yeah, like finding out about the people who were behind all of the cool stuff.
Yeah, like the Fangoria, like there's a Fangoria, what's that fucking like documentary, the Fangoria like documentary, it's Kulu Gulager is in it.
Oh, okay.
There's like a bunch of people in it, and like it's funny like when you look at it now and you're just like, everybody that I know who's in special effects were kids back then, and they would watch these segments and they would like buy all the toys and they would be like, fuck this is what I'm doing for like a career. And now horror is becoming so, you know, prevalent and important in like the film industry. Like, you know, like the first horror movie was like, you know, won an Academy Award or some shit like last year or so. Like there's a, you know, a career in it.
Yeah, for sure. And people wanted to know, and Charles Band was just ahead of his time. He just knew. Yeah. He knew what the people wanted.
And like, so after that, like in the 90s, like the Full Moon just kept on pumping out movies. Like sometimes like 12 movies a year.
Oh my god.
Which is like fucking insane.
So that's
why some of them are like
ridiculous.
shot in like these like ridiculous like cheesy studios.
Yeah,
because it's cheap and quick.
Or like Dollman versus Demonic Toys, where like it's like
half
of the movie
is just like clips from Dollman and Demonic Toys.
Fuck, it's bad, but like you know
it's
what?
Still
it doesn't matter.
Entertaining.
It is. I don't know, like Dollman, like he's
Dollman is my hero.
Dollman is my hero too.
Yeah,
well, I have the Dollman VHS, and like I love the videos.
Oh god, I love Tim Thomerson so much. I want to fucking hug him. Like I will not live a fulfilled life unless I hug Tim Thomerson. But in 2002, Charles Band, did you guys know this? I don't know if you guys like read this, but like Charles Band in 2002, there was a TV show on the Sci-Fi Channel. It was called Full Moon Fright Night, hosted by William Shatner! And it was like an Elvira like kind of show, but William Shatner fucking hosted it.
I did know that. And do you want to know why I know that? Only because today I put the Full Moon streaming app on my Roku, and I went through every single fucking movie, and I was like, is it worth it to buy this for $7 a month?
Bitch.
Yep.
Yes.
And I was like looking at all the like shitty softcore porn that they have, like all the weird like vampire sex movies, and like, and I was like,
or like the werewolf sex movies,
yeah, and
like
I was
Meridian.
Like, yes, this might actually be worth it. But yeah, there's like tons of the William Shatner.
That's
specials,
amazing.
Yeah.
I would love to fucking watch that show. I didn't even know about it.
Well, what the fuck do you know?
Nothing, apparently. I'm full of bullshit.
I kind of am late here, because I had to pee, and I'm wearing a bodysuit, so it took me a minute. But what I wanted to say was, speaking of the transformation of horror in the 70s and 80s, 90s, we're in the 2019, so how do you even say that? Because it's 70s, 80s, 90s, 2010s, and then 2020s? Like, how do you... It doesn't matter.
2020s.
So what I was going to say was, people always say the 70s are what transformed horror, because that's when Halloween started.
Yeah.
And it is. Okay, fine. I get that. However, I'm going to say our generation, we're like Yasmina said, we're in our 30s, so we're 90s, we're 80s babies, but we're 90s kids, really. Yeah. 90s kids, there's Spielberg. Okay, so everyone knows Spielberg, every fucking person. And then there's James Cameron.
Yep.
Which, surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't fucking know. You say Steven Spielberg to a crowd full of people, and they're like, yup. You say James Cameron, a lot of people don't know.
What?
Well, no.
But that doesn't matter.
No, it's interesting, though, like, just as a side note, because Steven Spielberg continues to work up until this day. James Cameron literally has, like, 9 or 10 IMDb credits to his name. He's only done
However, he's done very big things.
Every single movie he's done has been like a huge hit.
He did Avatar, he did Titanic, so he's done these huge movies.
Steven Spielberg has like he just keeps doing stuff. He's an executive producer and he does all kinds of stuff.
But the point I'm trying to make is, unfortunately, nowadays, like, we're early 80s babies, really early 80s babies. When you talk about late 80s babies, what they think of is, who's that guy who does Transformers with all the blow-ups in his movies? Michael Bay. So there are the three directors that I feel like the mass recognizes: Spielberg, Cameron, and Bay. However, you talk about Wes Craven, people who don't even know horror are like, I know Wes Craven. People who don't know horror are like, I know John Carpenter. Do you know what I mean? So, like, horror has managed to, like, transcend. 70s they were big. 80s they were big. 90s, that's when it really hit. The 90s is when Scream came out, you know what I mean? And when, like all these movies came out where people were like, oh, like, I know these names now, where they're just as big as Spielberg, but they're, like...
Still not as
numbers wise, they're not as big as Spielberg, but name wise, they're as big. So, you know, we're talking about, like, how horror was just starting to make a come through and blah, blah, blah. But you talk about these directors and people are like, oh, yeah, I've heard that name. I know who Wes Craven is. And there are these jocks who are fucking idiots in the real world, but they know who these directors are.
I think that it, honestly, is a biased opinion based on these awards shows, like, that I want to say, like, the Academy Awards, like the Globe and Globes, like, all those, like, bullshit.
Globe and
Globes.
Globe.
But, like, Academy Awards and, like, all that stuff is, like, those are the ones where, like, the mass public,
but I feel like you
pay
might be
attention
wrong here, because the Oscars that just aired didn't name one mainstream director as the winner. And the Oscars also didn't fucking, like, name Dick Miller as, like, one of the so the, like, that's my point, like, sorry, that I was saying that, like, these, like, mainstream normies, I guess, in the film industry, like the Oscars, like, they always every year commemorate like an actor who has passed away, and they didn't fucking mention Dick Miller. Dick Miller, who has, like, over, like, 300 fucking IMDb credits.
But they didn't put Bill Paxton in there either.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that, like, it depends, like, the target audience that you're speaking of. I guess
that's what I mean. That's what I think what I was speaking to was not the awards ceremonies. What I was speaking to is, if you go and stand in front of Fanshawe College, or wherever you're from, LA or whatever, if you have a university or a college, you stand in front of them and you say, have you heard of John Carpenter? Jock idiots will be like, I have.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, you know, the award ceremonies, like you said, they're pretty biased, and they're all trying to be like, oh, we support black directors, we support, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody won a ton of awards because it was a gay, quote-unquote, movie. So they're all trying to do these out-of-the-box categories. However, you're right, they're missing the real out-of-the-box people.
Yeah, that's why I don't pay attention to them.
No, you're right.
However, I will have to say that I feel like the 80s, like you were talking about, like, hey, like, we have, like, a slight, like, age.
I'm 86.
You're 86 and I'm 82, so we have, like, a pretty, like, a 4-year gap. And, like, we've talked about this, but we've talked about this before, is that, like, because of the fact that, like, even though we were both born in the 80s, I was 82 and you were 86, and, like, I was still, like, I experienced more of the 80s than you did, and, like, but when I think about, like, horror in general, like, in the 70s, it was, like, there was a lot of satanic movies, and there was a lot of, like, evil, like, they loved Satan.
70s.
Yeah, they definitely did, because they knew that was, like, taboo at the time, and they commercialized it. But, like, the 80s, like you were saying, Megan, earlier, that, like, the 90s kind of, like, exploited into the mainstream with Scream, because Scream was in, you know, like, the theaters.
Scream is huge.
And, like, I saw Scream in the fucking theaters, and Scream is a fantastic movie, don't get me wrong, but the 80s, like, I feel like maybe it depends on, like, your experience, I guess, and if you were there or not.
Well, the 90s had a lot of bullshit films, because you have to figure the 90s also spawned a lot of films like Gothic.
And the 90s also spawned CGI. The 90s also spawned CGI. So I feel like that kind of like it spawned a generation of horror fans that
I know you did
were
last summer.
not
Great.
born.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I love
Come
that
on.
movie. Oh, don't get me wrong. I love I Know What You Did Summer. I can't fucking talk in this episode. Fuck
Hey,
everything.
Summer, I know what you
but,
did.
like what I love about the 80s though is that like the 80s were like the decade of horror where practical effects and VHS cover art began.
Yeah. The 90s, though, I feel like we're straddling that chasm of the practical effects and then embracing a technology.
Yeah.
And then also because of, I know this might sound really kind of weird, but like the ushering in of like things like, you know, the boy band and like Spice Girls and stuff like that, where the teen movie became a part of all of that whole hype.
That's right.
And,
Well, because they had to like appease the masses.
yeah, and like so that was like that culture there. Also, they kind of like wrapped all of that in there, like, and like he even ended up having like fucking Kelly Rowland and fucking
Freddy versus Jason.
yeah, like ridiculous stuff like that. But the
But
90s
difference-
were awkward for a lot of reasons, mainly because it's like a transition decade where it's like the 80s.
They didn't care.
horror.
Where like the 80s, they didn't care. They just did what they wanted
It was
to.
more practical, and then the 90s, like it was like coming into CGI and computer technology. Like the 90s were more, a lot of even horror movies were about like the internet and technology and embracing. You know, futuristic concepts
I do
that
believe
were
that
coming
Lawnmower
to
Man
fruition.
was early 90s. I do believe that Lawnmower Man was like 91, 92.
Yeah.
Having said that, I think that in the 70s and 80s, horror was much more of a you and I thing. And I'm pointing at my girlfriends right now. Like in the 70s and 80s, it was much more of like a, hey, whisper horror movies, let's go to the drive-in. Where the 90s, they were like, we can make some big money. Let's make these movies so that young people who want to take their parents to the movies will get them to pay for them to go to the movies. Like, it wasn't so much a secret anymore. The 90s was that blossoming of like, let's get these horror movies fucking out to the
Backstreet
masses.
Boys
like
culture.
That's what you said.
Ushering it in, like hey, like we can also appeal to these people with like young stars, but make it scary too.
I feel like they started doing that in the
scary.
80s too, though, because like Adam Ant was like starring in like lots of fucking horror movies in like the late 80s and
what
stuff
I'm
like
referencing though isn't Scream, and it's not What I Know What You Did Last Summer. What I'm referencing, and I wish I could think of more examples, but what I am referencing is movies like Gothica, where Halle Berry saw a ghost that one time, and then she also saw a ghost at the end of the movie. But the middle of the movie is all. It's PG. There is this spawn of horror movies that came out that were dubbed as horror.
I think those were like late 90s, like early 2000s.
No.
And I think they were trying to like.
They were mid 90s. They were 94.
Okay,
95.
but those were the kinds of movies where like trying to capitalize on the fact that like horror was starting to become like big. And they were like, let's get these big Hollywood actors into these like
movies.
shitty.
They were not
well, like,
scary.
Yeah, like it's like the idea where like a movie like I know we're referencing Scream a lot, but it's like because that was a huge movie and
that's why it's a good movie.
It
though,
was
I'll be
a
honest.
cultural phenomenon where it did bridge the gap between like pop culture and also horror.
Well, that started. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and then before I forget, Morgan, I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
But and then Urban Legend.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like this Joshua Jackson era
all
of
those
horror.
Yeah, so it did sort of, but like it did
one,
spawn those.
The Faculty.
Yeah, but then bridge the gap between that and like I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry. I'm drunk. No, I know. Okay, the point that I was trying to make was okay. So with anything that is that popular, it's always going to like breed like imitators
That's right.
Like sad imitators, though.
That's
like
it.
when you look at
high budget.
think about this. Like
Yeah.
like with any fad. Like for me, my point of reference is always music. You look at 80s hair metal. Like the best fucking hair metal bands came out in the early 80s, and then by the late 80s, it was just like 10th generation fucking bullshit. Same with like new metal. It's like when it came out, it was like there was some really great bands. But then like towards the end of it, it was just like all these like shitty 10th generation like bands that were, it was so derivative. It was like derivative of itself.
That's funny that you say that.
Of being derivative.
That's funny that you say that because it like they kind of talk about that in Lords of Chaos.
Yeah.
That's
new
what
movie.
they thought about black metal. That's
a lot of like
yeah.
a lot, but like I have to say like I watched Lords of Chaos this week and I was like actually like pretty impressed with it. And the only thing that bothered me about it was like it was kind of weird hearing Americans talk about being from Norway. But other than that,
Norwegian actors,
or like just develop the accent, just learn how to do the accent.
But no, I know. But the main problem that people had, it wasn't people. It was
the public.
Literally the members of the band.
Oh yeah. Oh,
was that black metal? Varg, you know what? Don't get me started. This is not the
Varg
episode
is a
to get me
fucking
started on
loser.
love. This is not the episode.
Loser.
But you know, black metal. Everyone's a poser, and there was a part. I haven't seen the movie, but I know a lot about the story.
It's actually really good.
And there was, I've read oodles and oodles prior to the movie coming out about the story, and they used to pass around pieces of dead animals at their shows.
Oh yeah,
so that they would scare the posers away, so that only the pure black metal would stay for their shows. So you know what? I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
However, you think only people who like black metal are comfortable holding carcasses? Like, that's not fair.
Well, it's funny
that's
because,
not
like,
fair to say.
But I was more, like, referencing, like, the fact that, like, it's funny that, like, with the whole poser theory. Mm-hmm. Because if you know Varg's story, you know that he started out as a fucking poser.
Swastika-loving.
Fucking idiot. I'm sorry.
A Nazi.
But, like, you know what? But that movie, okay, I just have to say, we've read the book Lords of Chaos. Like,
oh my god, I read it so long ago.
Yeah, like
I read it at like a time.
Yeah, like we've all been in the metal scene for like a long time, like since the 90s, and like we've read that book. And the movie was actually really good. Yeah. Okay, I will say the movie was really fucking good. My only like tidbit about it is it's kind of funny hearing like an American accent like talking about being from Oslo and Sweden. But I love how they made Varg look, which is why I understand why he hated the movie. Because he alleges that he's like, I never said those things, but the interview with the fucking tabloids, like when he admitted
shit's on the record
to the church burnings, or like they're on record,
yeah,
like they're there, they're there.
I never.
He was like, oh, whatever, I never said that. But either way, if we're from like the music industry, and like we have followed that book for like a long time, and it was a really good movie. Definitely watch it. Definitely rent it, like buy it. It's worth it. It's like I don't watch a lot of new movies like ever. But that is a movie that I will definitely say that I will watch more than once.
I saw the suicide scene.
Oh dude, that scene with Dead is fucking brilliant.
Saw Dead kid himself.
Oh dude, that scene, and it's fucking
he's kidding himself. He's just kidding himself.
You can't make fun of me for mispronouncing things because you're fucking mispronouncing things. The guy, did you know that the guy that played Dead is Val Kilmer's son?
Okay.
Yeah, the guy who played Dead is Val Kilmer's son. Isn't that fucked?
Oh my god, what?
Yeah, that's Val Kilmer's son.
Okay, first of all,
he did a great job.
Val Kilmer had vaginal sex with someone. And ejaculated into her canal. You are lying right now.
Yeah, Val Kilmer's son played Dead.
I thought Val Kilmer.
Yeah, but you know what?
No. He is so like, oh my god.
But he nailed it. He was
so
everybody in that
incredibly
movie.
attractive.
Everybody in that movie
The
were
Dead
good.
is the most, what's the word, Morgan? You always have words. For a character who draws you in.
Like provocative.
He's got charisma.
He's
The most charismatic.
and I'm not talking about the movie because I never saw it, but like I said, I know a lot of this story, and to me, he is the most charismatic person in the band.
Yeah, that's
me.
fucking Val Kilmer's son, dude.
But I saw him. He rips.
Yeah, no, that
Like, I
that
saw
scene.
the scene.
That scene was fucking crazy. Like I watch a lot of fucked up horror movies, and when I watched that scene, I actually was like, I was like, oh my god.
You want to know why?
Oh.
Because we like.
That was fucked.
We're watching a movie right now about a fucking alien from outer space.
Oh yeah, like people's heads exploding like cray-cray.
This is different.
Yeah.
This is a scene of someone
it's
committing
intimate.
suicide.
It's intimate.
You know
It's
what?
fucking
We can
intimate. He
we
nailed
can
it.
easily turn this conversation around because we're talking about. We started this talking about the 90s. There are many 90s movies where people commit suicide. I cannot name you a one. I can't. However, there's a scene in Interview with the Vampire where what's her tits, that young lady, slits Tom Cruise's throat.
Yeah.
Remember?
Kristen Dunst, yeah.
I can watch that movie literally like this. Oh, that's interesting. But I saw that clip of
From
Dead.
Lords of Chaos.
I saw him slitting his own
It's
throat.
fucked. It's
like,
really fucking
There's a
good.
difference between filming someone where they commit suicide in real life and seeing it and watching him slit up his forearms.
It was
because
good.
he knows how to do it. And then shoot himself. Like, no 90s suicide shot will ever capture what that movie captured.
It was
Well,
good. It was fucking really good.
Honestly, it's because it was real.
Yeah, and they fucking put it on an album cover.
He really did that.
Yeah.
And like going into watching the movie knowing the information about the whole history and all the people, it makes it more fucking disturbing knowing that like that person was a human and real and lived on this earth, but also was like literally like 20 fucking years old. Like was a kid.
Yeah, he was like 23 or some shit.
Child.
The
when
thing
he did
is,
that.
I'm saying we as in the people in this room, and this is really rare, because again, we're all very drunk, because we were all those angst-ridden kids. The three of us, in this room right now, we're all those angst-ridden kids who were like, fuck the world, fuck this, fuck whatever. And we grew out of it, and we're thriving, and I think that's what's hard for me to realize, is that I fucking hated my life at one point in my life. Yeah. You hated your life, Yasmina, for sure you did. You know, and I'm sure, Morgan, you weren't happy at one. Yeah. Like, no one is happy all the time, and so to see someone at such a young age take their own lives, for real, we know that's what happened. Like, we fucking know it. To me, it's like, if he only waited 5-10 years. No, but Dead was not that person. But I'm just saying, you never know, because we were all in dark places. And now look at us. We're like, yeah, we get drunk. We work out. We feel great about ourselves. He could have. That's all I'm saying is you could have. You could have grown out of it. You could have worked out of it. You could have sang out of it. You could have been a different person.
But also, like, being in, like, such a desolate country. Like, there was a lot of fucking politics that happened in Norway at the time that, like, made him probably like even worse. And like I love how they portrayed the setting of the movie. Like I will have to say that like they desolated themselves in that cabin where they recorded and where they lived, and you know they were bored and he had nothing going on. There was no internet. Like there was like, you know, he was depressed. He had a lot of like mental health issues. And I definitely, like, I was reluctant to watch the movie because I read the book. So I was, like, a little, like, you know, what if the movie is going to be, like, you know, Hollywood? But it wasn't. It was really good. And I will have to say that the highlight of the movie was a Culkin in a crop top.
Oh,
God damn.
You slutty bitch.
Dude, that fucking, like, that Culkin, Rory Culkin.
That Culkin.
Holy shit. Damn!
I say goddamn.
I say goddamn. I say
goddamn.
goddamn.
I'll say goddamn.
But I highly recommend it. It was like I don't watch a lot of new movies, and I was compelled to watch this one because I was like very in the metal scene for like a very long time and read the book and everything, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna watch the movie, and it was really good.
Do you know what the funniest part of all of this is? Dead is literally rolling over in his grave that the last thing he wanted for black metal has now been made into a feature film.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. People who don't want anything done about their lives are the ones who get books written about their lives. I don't care. He's been dead for 20 years. I mean, Dead's been dead. But I think it's just funny how he was super upset how mainstream media was taking over black metal and there weren't any black metal fans anymore and yada, yada, yada. And now there's literally a movie where Val Kilmer's son...
Times have changed.
I just think,
yeah.
I mean, you gotta see him in hell or in purgatory or neither of them exists. So he's in the ground being eaten by worms. But were there spirits, he'd be looking down like, well, fuck me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He'd be like, I'm a superstar and I think
they were just fucked up.
But they didn't want to be known. Like, they did, but they didn't. Do you know what I mean? It's the controversy. It's that controversial, we want to be famous, but fuck everyone who likes it.
Well, I think Euronymous, wanted to be, but Dead just didn't care. Because he was so depressed. But Euronymous, kind of had, a plan. And then fuckface Varg fucked it up.
But Euronymous left him alone in the house to kill himself.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? You can never...
He encouraged it.
We were watching TerrorVision at one point.
Yeah.
We started talking
and then
about
our titties fell out, and
yeah.
now we're... Any characters and events depicted in this MILF.
In this MILF.
Fictitious. I love when they say that at the end of movies where they're like,
I know.
If it resembles any real life situation.
Yeah.
If
this giant monster that eats people resembles anybody that you know, it's not true.
It's a coincidence.
Don't sue us.
Coincidental? I don't know.
I just want to mention Mary Warnoff, who plays Raquel in TerrorVision.
Phenomenal.
She fucking rules.
Rochelle!
She rules. She was in Chopping Mall, Night of the Comet, Warlock. Actually, her character in Warlock is one of my favorite in that movie because she's the one that she's the
channeler.
The channeler, and that he goes to, that Julian Sands goes
and then
to.
she's
super fucking creepy.
Is born out of him.
I know. She's super fucking creepy in fucking Warlock.
Megan's I don't know what's happening right
now. Girl.
I'm stretching
She's
I'm stretching
scary.
my hamstrings.
She's scary in Warlock. She's also in that terrible fucking movie, I'm sorry, Death Race 2000. That movie
I'm sorry. No one has seen it.
Well, some people might like it, and I'm sorry, but that movie sucks. With Stallone and fucking Mary Warnoff, I'm sorry, Death Race 2000 is not good. We tried to watch it one night.
No, it was pretty rotten.
It was rotten. It was so rotten. But I want to say one more thing about her is that she was in an episode of Charlie's Angels, and the show actually had another episode called Hell Ride, and they named an evil race car after her character from Death Race 2000. And the character from the show was called Bloody Mary, and I thought that was pretty cool because she was only on one episode of Charlie's Angel and she made such an impact.
Yeah.
That they were like, we're going to do another episode and we're going to name this fucking daredevil car driver after you because you're so fucking cool. And she was in another movie called Hellhole with Robert Zarr and Judy Landers from fucking Dr. Alien. And she was also in another movie called Nomads that I've always heard of, but I've never seen, with Pierce Brosnan and fucking Adam Ant.
How hot was he in Mrs. Doubtfire, though?
Okay, can I just tell you something about Pierce Brosnan?
I forgot that he was in that movie. Wasn't he the fucking shitty boyfriend?
Yeah, and he took them to a pool, and then Mrs. Doubtfire threw the lime at his head, and he turns around and Robin Williams goes, "Oh, it was a drive-by."
it, but it's very depressing. It's about divorce.
Oh, well.
I know, it's a
That probably
sad,
won't
it's a
impact
sad
me.
It's
family
literally
movie.
the saddest, like, coming from a broken family.
I know.
Cue the fucking flowers that you guys can send to me from bringing from a broken family.
P.O.
I also
box.
accept, wait, what do you guys call those things?
Money?
No, yeah. It's fruit dipped in chocolate. Fruit bouquets.
yeah.
What do you call those? Fruit K's.
Edible.
Edible arrangement!
That's it. I knew it was something edible. I'm not fucking high.
Okay, Nancy Warlock was in The House of the Devil, okay?
Dude, that's a good movie.
Literally, you just killed me. I died. You called her... Did you say Nancy Warlock?
I'm sorry, what did my notes say to you?
Her name is...
Nancy Warlock!
I don't see that anywhere.
Mary.
Nancy Warlock, and literally all I have under her name is The House of the Devil.
Dude, that was actually a really good fucking movie.
Oh
That's
my
why
god,
it's
literally.
It's actually a
I
really
just
good movie.
exploded.
That's why it's
Okay, I just, like, a couple more things about her.
Oh, your tissues are really...
Oh, I'm not
more
done.
They're not soft.
Don't make fun
Okay.
of my Kleenex.
They're
I
super
steal them from work.
They're not soft.
Honestly.
Yes, because I steal them from work.
Oh my god, I'm dying. Okay, so I think the most interesting thing about her is that the fact that she was in Andy Warhol's fucking
Dude,
like
yes.
sphere of like
Yeah.
entertainment.
Dude, Mary Warnov used to be a dancer for Andy Warhol's events in the 60s.
Yeah.
They were called the Exploding Plastic Inevitable, where like screenings and dancers and bands would play, and it was basically the only band that played was the Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Macaulay Culkin had a band called the Pizza Underground?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Of course.
P.S. So that happened. So
Yeah, like she was in
okay,
Chelsea
so
Girls.
but she
was
also like she acted in some of Andy Warhol's movies, and she also wrote a book about her experience with Andy called "Swimming Underground: My Years in the Warhol Factory."
which is
Andy
amazing.
Warhol was a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Oh my god, obviously.
I had recently finished Arnold's book, and Andy Warhol and fucking. I'm sorry, I'm really gassy right now. Andy Warhol and Grace Jones, like, no.
Okay.
Andy Warhol and Grace Jones interrupted Arnold Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver's wedding.
That what? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that happened.
I did not see that coming. That is so inappropriate. You
so
cannot do that.
in the middle
No,
of
that's
their
not
wedding,
okay.
they showed up late,
That's
and
not okay.
but Andy Warhol is Andy Warhol,
I don't
and
give a fuck.
nobody would ever doubt him. And they showed up late, and they showed up in the middle of the fucking ceremony, and they opened the doors and like kicked the door down, and we're like, we're here, and like it was like literally in the middle of the fucking
Do you know
ceremony.
how fucking egotistical that is? Do you know how fucking one-sided, megalomaniac how dare you think that you're worthy of interrupting a wedding? The only person worthy of interrupting a wedding is the person who stands up and say, "I object, Your Honor! I love this woman!" That's the only person who's allowed to stand up.
Drunk fucking
Apparently, Andy Warhol can get
Listen,
away with it.
I've
Andy Warhol and Grace Jones can get away with it.
I've seen The Doors with our main man, Val Kilmer, who we've talked about way too many times. I've seen that movie where Andy Warhol is a fuckhead in The Doors movie. They touch on
Crispin Glover!
as played by Chris
My fucking
Glover.
boyfriend!
But let me tell you this. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Disrespectful. I don't know who the fuck. Like Yasmina was talking earlier about Jim Morrison being at a party with
Rick James. Yeah.
and slitting his arms and having the blood pour out, and someone being like, "Oh, that's just
Oh, that's just what he does.
that's
He
just
just
Jimmy
does it all the time.
Morrison."
Yeah.
You want to know what I think about that? If someone's in my house potentially killing themselves in the name of art and drugs, I don't understand the sense of entitlement. Humans are humans, and how dare you? How dare you?
I agree. If somebody was in my house, I'd get the fuck out.
If someone walks into my wedding when I'm marrying someone, or I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, here's the thing. Here's the battle of egos. You cannot drink that. That's your
I
microphone.
can't drink my microphone.
Here's the battle of egos. You're Arnold Schwarzenegger, who in his mind is the most influential American who's not an American. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger was full of himself. He was.
Oh, absolutely.
He was.
100%.
Him and Stallone had a rival going with each other.
But that's what I mean. So you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're the biggest thing in 1980s, 1990s history. And then this man comes in and goes, I'm here!
Yeah.
I would literally be like, Andy Warhol, you have been banned
I know.
from my wedding. Because I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger.
There's like hundreds of people that are like there, and you can't like make a scene.
Bitch, I know. But you know, here's who can't.
I still have more
Here's
to
who
say.
can't make a scene. Arnold Schwarzenegger can't make a scene. You know who
No.
can? His fucking wife.
Well,
Because
yeah.
as the bride, you
literally-
are allowed to have a meltdown if you want.
Well, not only that, but it's like, she's a motherfucking Kennedy.
She's a Kennedy.
You don't think that she would have some Secret Service fucking motherfuckers
That's right.
like
That's right.
standing outside the doors, just like kicking people off the steps?
Bitch, that's right.
Why wouldn't they be?
Okay, so I want to talk about Garrett Graham.
The better looking Clancy Brown.
What? What did you say?
I said the better looking Clancy Brown. They look the same. They look the same.
Who the fuck is Clancy Brown?
Shut the fuck up, you know.
No, where's my phone?
Dude, Clancy Brown, fucking
look
Highlander,
literally
Highlander,
the same.
Carnival,
Oh, okay.
SpongeBob.
Okay, first of all, don't you dare throw SpongeBob in my face.
Well, then how do you not know who Clancy Brown
I do
is?
now, okay.
Well,
They look the
okay.
same.
I
They're
forgive
both
you.
like
I forgive you.
Frankenstein-looking
I forgive
motherfuckers.
you. I forgive you. Okay, so let's talk about Garrett Graham. This episode has strayed.
Because of alcohol.
Booze
Like,
is our friend. Okay, so Garrett Graham, who plays Stanley in TerrorVision. Okay, you guys, I know Morgan hasn't. Megan, have you seen Phantom of the Paradise?
Oh my god!
This one hasn't
As a
seen it.
singer,
I
as
know.
a singstress.
I know! Like, what the fuck?
A singstress, I could never imagine.
She hasn't seen it. Like, what the fuck? Dude, Phantom of the... Okay, I am not a big fan of musicals, okay? I'm just gonna put that out there. I'm not a huge
Well,
fan
maybe
of
I'm
musicals.
not as well.
Jen
Well,
Marino
you
is, and if you
know-
loved her, you
I
would
know, and you
watch
know
it.
what?
No,
But
which
she
is
loves
funny.
that shit.
I know.
No, it's
But Phantom of the Paradise is actually, like,
it's a
fucking
cult.
fantastic.
It's a cult film.
And Brian De Palma can do no wrong.
Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
you, as well as many of our listeners who probably haven't seen Phantom of the Paradise, you don't know. And that's the thing. And Yasmina, do you remember when we made you watch Princess Bride? And you said, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
I feel like Phantom of the Paradise is one of those movies where you're going to watch it, Morgan, and you're going to say, that was neat. But you didn't grow up on it. You didn't see it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? And you know what? That's how I feel about Morgan watching Monster Squad.
I know, and
Because Morgan has never fucking seen...
sorry.
Because she's never seen
No,
Monster
we-
Squad.
I know, we talked
She's
about it
never
before.
seen Monster
No.
Squad. And because you didn't watch it when you were younger, I have a feeling, and I know you, and I have a feeling that you're going to watch it now and you're not going to like it. You're going to be like, this isn't my thing.
No, because Monster Squad is a kid's movie, so I feel like Morgan's gonna watch it and go, for a kid's movie, that was fucking amazing.
I could potentially watch it with child's eyes.
No,
That's what
I
I'm
have a
saying,
feeling she's not
but-
going to like it.
But I'm probably not going to be like
But-
that because, you know what? I was never really a child.
But Garrett Graham, the thing is, you were never a child. You were literally a baby, and the second
I
you used
was-
the potty,
I was
got your
literally
period.
3
That's
and
what
a
happened.
grown woman.
that's what happened. You used the potty, and
Yeah.
you're like, hey, Mom, I used the potty. Also, I got my period.
I was literally a grown person.
I have a feeling you won't like Monster Squad.
But
just
Garrett-
like because
but
I know
Garrett
you.
Graham. We need
But
to talk
Garrett
about
Graham,
Garrett Graham.
but
We need to focus.
but like
Let's
seriously,
focus.
focus. Phantom of the Paradise. He plays Beef in Phantom of the Paradise, and his character in that movie is fucking glorious.
Yeah.
It's so good. And it's Brian De Palma and Jessica Harper from Suspiria. It's a musical.
Awesome.
But it's basically Phantom of the Opera, but like a horror version.
It's
so
overacted.
good. It's so good.
But it's overacted, just like, I feel so terrible because Morgan had only seen this movie once before, as I had. However, Morgan just watched this movie again and didn't get to see it again. If you saw Garrett in this movie, it's the same acting.
It's like
that
over the
overacting.
top.
It's
Yeah.
that over,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
that theatrical.
the part with him in
I
the
love it.
shower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's
just
amazing.
that overacting.
He's also in Chopping Mall.
Yeah.
He's the guy, like, in the control booth, like, pushing buttons. And he's also in Demon Seed with, like, the woman who gets
Yes.
impregnated by a fucking computer. And he's also in Chud 2, which is terrible.
It's terrible. That's why I
Chud
didn't
2,
include it in my
Bud the
notes.
Chud.
Bud
I'm
the
sorry.
Chud. Literally,
I
who
can't.
thought that was a great tagline?
Dude, I can't.
Chud
Chud 2
Bud
is terrible.
The Chud.
Also, Child's Play 2, which
Crud the Chud.
is not terrible. Child's Play 2 is not
No,
terrible.
that's good.
Child's Play 3 is terrible.
He's been in all the...
Yeah, well, he's a B movie actor, I guess.
He's been in the Annihilators.
When I looked into, I started writing down, and I wrote down Seinfeld, which we'll get to. I don't want to get to that right now.
Oh, yes.
But before Seinfeld, I saw The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid is a movie, funny enough, where I know a lot of the voice actors because it was one of those movies where I started appreciating it at the exact same time I started appreciating horror. And like we said, horror is that genre that sucks you into what happens behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what happened in Little Mermaid behind the scenes? So I started to research where Garrett Graham's voice came into The Little Mermaid. He is literally, Garrett Graham, horror fans, a huge deal. Little Mermaid, I delved into The Little Mermaid. Who the fuck was he? He's an unknown. He's a voice. So they got him to be in The Little Mermaid, which was one of the biggest Disney cartoons ever made.
Well, who's not gonna fucking forget the priest getting a boner?
Right? So he was in the original Little Mermaid. The original, which is one of the groundbreaking Disney movies that really brought it into, like...
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you want to talk about horror movies being brought into the mainstream? He was in The Little fucking Mermaid.
That's crazy.
And he is cast as much as I researched, he's cast as unknown voice.
Oh, poor Garrett. Well,
Right?
we met him.
Shame.
Me and Megan, we met Garrett Graham at Shockstock in London, Ontario.
So sweet.
He's such an adorable man. And he did a lot of TV shows. Like, he was in an episode of Tales from the Crypt. He was in Dallas. He was in Laverne and Shirley, The A-Team, Miami Vice, Voyager. He actually was a Q in Voyager.
I know,
because
that's
Q is
amazing.
one of my favorite fucking characters in TNG. And he was also in Deep Space Nine and Seinfeld.
Seinfeld!
4. So
Seinfeld!
4. So Garrett Graham was in the opera episode, and he is the clown that fucking crazy Joe Davola isn't. Like, he's the other clown that crazy Joe Davola isn't the clown.
Yeah, the pointy hat,
He's the other
white-faced
clown. I loved crazy Joe Davola. Motherfucker's so
He
funny.
digs a hole in the middle of a forest. That's the guy, right? He digs a hole in the middle of the
I
forest.
love crazy Joe Davola so much. But get this, though. This is a very interesting tidbit about Garrett Graham. He is friends with the Grateful Dead. And he actually wrote songs with Bob Weir, who is the singer of the Grateful Dead, and wrote the lyrics to a Grateful Dead song, Victim or the Crime. I will have to admit, I do not like the Grateful Dead. That is a band that I never got into.
I'm not
I
a
just
Deadhead.
I can't get into the Grateful Dead.
I don't know much about them.
But that's still pretty cool about Garrett Graham. Holy fuck.
He has these really, I know we're trying to wrap it up because funny enough, before the episode started, the three of us said to each other, none of us have very many notes.
It's like literally.
LOL, we've literally been talking for 4 hours.
But we've had a 4-hour fucking podcast. But I gotta say, he has some eyeballs.
Yes, I agree.
I was actually gonna say, literally,
I don't want to call a person out on the way they look. Like, I'm not trying to be that person, but
this
Morgan,
motherfucker's got fucking.
You ever seen those goldfish? You know, babe. You know those goldfish who have the eyes?
Yeah.
Or
it's like the TerrorVision beast. That's what he looks like.
He's got these eyeballs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because he's not a devilishly attractive man.
He's not like
he's not
repulsive.
hideous, but
he's the B+ Clancy Brown.
He's not like TerrorVision, like the beast ugly.
No, that's true.
And so who's the guy who did the voice for the beast?
Oh, the guy who did the voice for the beast was kind of interesting. Real quick,
I love how Morgan
like fucking over.
I know because I'm
let me put
fucking
my glasses
blind.
on. Over like 800 fucking IMDb credits.
Drunk, blind. Let's just go there.
He's
okay.
blind?
No, I am. I'm talking about myself right now. I'm old, I'm drunk, and I'm blind, so I need to put my spectacles on to read my nose.
It's just cute that she takes them off.
I know. Well, okay, so the guy who did the voice for the creepy beast... Frank Welker, he's done a ton of shit. He was the voice of Fred Jones in Scooby-Doo.
Was it like
from
Nibbler from Futurama?
He was, yeah, he did the voice of Nibbler. He was Megatron.
In what?
From fucking Transformers.
Yeah, but in what? The movies or the
cartoon?
Like
and all of them, yeah.
Dude, he has like over 800 IMDb credits of
he
like voice acting. He must
be a little bit old then, eh? If he did all the Transformers.
Well, yeah, he was doing Scooby-Doo in like 1969.
Oh,
so
okay, so he's super old.
He definitely is,
Cute.
but he's still working, still rocking it. Yeah, during the 80s and the 90s, he was very, very famous and very busy. He did all the voices for like for Brain, Dr. Claw, and the cat from Inspector Gadget.
Shut the fuck up. This is a big deal. And this is the man who was behind the costume of the...
Well, like, he just literally did, like, the...
He just did the voice.
Creepy voice of, like...
he says, like, 3 words.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I love Inspector Gadget.
Was the voice of Slimer and Ray.
I always hated him. I'm sorry.
What,
He's
Inspector
an
Gadget?
Idiot, but I mean, I love the
Penny
cartoon.
she did all the work and she didn't get
Brain.
any credit.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
International Women's Day.
Yeah,
What?
You said that. By the time this airs. Oh my god.
Also, I want to say that Susie, the girl who plays Susie, her name is Diane Franklin, and she was in Amityville too.
Yeah.
And Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And she was in an episode of Freddy's Nightmares, The Last American Virgin, which is a movie that the Canon documentary talks about a lot. You guys need to watch the Canon documentary. It's so good. It's so good. And she was in a movie called Better Off Dead with John Cusack. That was like a big thing in the 80s. But do you guys remember that movie? I don't really remember it.
I remember
Better
the
Off
title.
Dead. Yeah, I never watched it.
I don't remember the movie. Also, John Cusack is amazing.
I also, I couldn't find any information about the girl who played Medusa. Like, the girl who played Medusa, her name is Jennifer Richards. And she was in Night Court and Next Generation.
Night Court.
With Richard Mole.
Do you guys ever wonder if the judges on TV are actually judges?
Judge
Judy is.
I wouldn't fight her.
But,
that bitch is scrappy.
She's
as
got some
fuck.
sass.
No, I know she's got sass, but does she has legal fucking background? Judge
I
Joe
think she
Brown.
does. I think she does.
Judge Joe Brown. I mean, I just am curious because if I'm a white trash nobody bringing my small claims court case to Judge Judy, I want to make sure that she's gonna have my back when I'm saying my baby daddy
I think
ain't paying.
Judge
Judy,
she's
I
really
want
a
to say, it's legit.
No, she is. She's
But what
straight
kind
up
of
a
person
judge.
goes through X amount of years of judge school just to money? Yeah, it's money.
Oh yeah. Did you know? Literally, Judge Judy is the highest paid woman on television. Megan, no.
Like,
She makes more than fucking Oprah.
Shut the fuck up.
Judge Judy is rich as fuck, it's true.
We have to wrap this up. We have to.
I know, this
we
is
have
out of
to
control.
wrap this
Okay.
up. Wrap it up, Yasmina.
Oh, it's my duty.
Wrap it up.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to this episode on TerrorVision, where we discuss many things from the 80s and 90s horror.
And also are
practical
so
effects
wasted.
And alcohol-inducing shenanigans. And we love Charles Band, and we love Garrett Graham, and we love TerrorVision, and we love you. Oh, she's laughing at me.
Have an excellent evening.
Rules! I fuck like a beast! Bye, everyone. Thank you.